Hi, I'm Gabriel, and today we're going to do something a little different. This week we're doing a podcast since there isn't much to show. The head judge will join us in a moment to talk about the achievements this year. Achievements are goals you meet to get points. Win enough points and you can win the competition. The official achievement list will be released soon, but we thought you'd appreciate some extra explanation for a head start. Anyway, here's the head judge. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Damian, and I'm the head judge for OGPC, and today I'm going to be talking to you about some of the achievements. These are across all of the different categories, and I'm mostly going to be focusing on ones that have either changed from last year or were added. Every year we do a little bit of work to make sure that the achievements are still relevant, see if there are new things to add or remove. So these are the highlights. So I'm just going to go through them one by one. The first one we've added is actually one that we had years ago, but is worth bringing back. So this one is use a console or hidden menu to change or view the game state for the sake of testing. Now this is important for a couple reasons, but the biggest reason to include this is that you might have something really cool in your game, but it might be, 1 or 2 levels in. So if you can jump to it quickly when the judges get there, then you can easily show off all of the cool things that you have in your game. Also, if there's a section that you can only get to when you have a certain item, it's easiest if you can just give yourself that item. The idea is you want to keep the judging process as streamlined as possible. The other two that I'll be talking about in programming are extra credit achievements. These are awarded points separately from the way the others are. The first one is called Programmer's Delight. So we want you to implement and use a real-world algorithm for pathfinding AI or something similar. Now there are a few examples. A-Star is a popular one for pathfinding. Dijkstra's, there are many of these real-world algorithms. And in the list of achievements, you'll actually see there's a link we've put there to Khan Academy. The purpose here is to use an algorithm that real programmers would use. So don't just make something up on your own. Go out and try to find something that looks like it would be useful and find how you can use that in your game. The next is Method to My Madness. Diagram some aspect of the game with a professional diagram. So there are, again, a number of professional diagrams you can use. These include things like a state or data flow diagram. UML is a universal markup language which can be used for basically all of the different types of diagrams you could possibly have, and is probably the way most of you will go. And then there's activity diagrams and many others as well. For both of these two, the algorithms and the diagrams one, Wikipedia and general internet searches are definitely your friend. There is lots and lots of documentation out there for various kinds of algorithms and diagrams. So make sure to look those up before you try to just do something. In the game design category, there's been a few additions. One of them is to show screenshots from before and after a design review that highlights changes made. So this is actually a rather important part of making any software. Design reviews allow you to reevaluate your game's current state based on the requirements you defined at the beginning. Now you should all have a game design document, either from Game Jam or because it's one of the achievements we've always had. And in that you should probably list some requirements. A design review lets you go back through those requirements and make sure that you're still following everything. If you're not, you either need to change your requirements or change your game. If you change your game, then you can take some screenshots and get this achievement. The next thing is describe the game's target audience and what decisions were made to make the game appeal to them. So we've always had to describe the game's target audience, but it's really important to talk about how you chose to make your game fit that audience. So if you're trying to design a little kid's game, you might choose to use brighter, happier colors as opposed to a more grungy feel or something that you'd use if you were going for an older audience. And this should be apparent in all aspects of your game, so you should have several examples probably of ways that you modified your game to fit your target audience. And the last one is a rather fun addition to this year. This is a challenge achievement or an extra credit. We want you to use a physical object as part of your game. So it could be a flash drive, a QR code, something like that, that contains necessary information to complete a challenge. So you could get to a door and need a key in the game. You could have to hack into a system, anything like that, where you have to stop for a moment and utilize some sort of key or coordinates, something that can be retrieved from a physical object in the game. You can feel free to scatter these all over the main event venue as long as they are marked with your team name so people know who to go to when they find them. Have some fun though with this one. You can get pretty creative with the things that you try to hide. In art and assets, we've made a few changes. We would like you to show off some concept art, but we also want you to post your art on a blog somewhere, starting from concept and going through to production. So hopefully you've already made some concept art. Hopefully you've been developing for a little while now, and you can show that off. So either Tumblr, DeviantArt, on whatever game blog you're using, TMS, or a site called cartridge.com, which is a really great place to show off the work you've been doing on games. Another change is to the track list achievement, which is all about sound. There were previously several different achievements, and we've sort of rolled them all into one. So the lowest level is for just having a soundtrack at all. The next is for having a soundtrack consisting of 2 or more. And the most points goes to having a soundtrack composed by your team consisting of 2 or more tracks. This is really important. Any professional game is obviously going to have their own soundtrack that people want to listen to. So it's important to have music, but it's even more important that you write it yourself, both for the experience and so that you have a unique game. Another addition is the Colors of the Wind achievement. We want you this year to choose your own color palette and explain your choice of the type of color palette, so whether they were complementary colors, whether you were going for a grunge look or you wanted like a pastel happy. It's all up to you, but you should be able to defend why you did that. In theme and style, we have a few changes. There's the exposition achievement. Game environments contain information about the story. This is one that teams haven't gotten super well in the past. So this could be, like if you're familiar with Slender Man and there's the collectible notes, that would be an acceptable way to get it. But it could even be things like there are vases all over your game, and if you collect them all, you can read about what they mean or something like that, as long as it contains information about the story. The next is detail-oriented. Story is revealed progressively via cutscenes or meaningful player NPC interactions. So this is sort of similar to the one above, but it's really important that I am able to get the story as I play. Screen crawls, like at the beginning of Star Wars, are really great if you have a ton of information to dump all of a sudden, but when you're playing a game, it's important that you have a very immersive experience, which means that you need to learn things as you play. So whether I'm picking up things or I'm learning things from an NPC that I'm talking to, one way or another, I need to learn stuff about the story as I play rather than in short segments all at once. And then the next one that sort of goes along with that is the ludonarrative theme is expressed throughout gameplay. So not only does your story need to be expressed, but your theme also needs to be expressed through gameplay. So I don't want to randomly be able to press space to breathe air when I'm in the middle of space. That doesn't really make any sense. So you need to make sure that the story, the environment, and the theme is all tied into gameplay. Another achievement that people didn't really get super well in the past was called Curly Braces, and its game has a clear beginning, middle, and end. So this is about the story again. It's important that people feel like they're entering into a story that's going on, that they're progressing through the story, and that at the end the story closes, that all the loose ends get tied up. And this, again, should be apparent through gameplay. You should be adding mechanics as you go along, and then when you get to the end, you should be, sort of done, right? The game is coming to an end, the story should come to an end, everything should sort of tie up. And then there's an extra credit achievement in this category, which I think needs a little bit of explaining. So in the past, we just told you to make a style guide, but we didn't really explain what that is, and that was confusing to people. So for those of you who are unaware, a style guide is actually a very specific document which defines the artistic style, voice, programming standards, and other requirements of creating new content for the game. So this is actually sort of cross-disciplinary across multiple categories. This is what you would hand somebody, like a new hire, if they wanted to get work done. This would allow them to know everything that they need to know. So if they're a programmer, they can see whether curly brackets go on a new line or on the same line as the conditional. If they're writing the story, they know whether to use active or passive voice, whether the player is supposed to be timid or angry. They should know, the color styles for the art. All of this should be defined in your style guide. It's actually a very important document. The last category is professionalism. Again, there are a couple achievements here we've modified and some that we've added. In the past, we've always had you have a visual aid. This year, though, we really want you to focus on having a good display. So this is not just a single slideshow or poster board or something like that. The achievement is worded: show off your game and team at your booth using visual aids such as a slideshow or poster board. So we really want you to have fun. Show off everything you've done. You've just spent a long time making this game. You've worked with a bunch of people, so have fun. Show what you've done. There are other achievements that will do things like bring team business cards, banners, flyers, buttons, pamphlets, and other promotional materials. And that's great. Those are things you hand out, and it's really important to have those. But there needs to be things at your booth that stay there, that make it very clearly yours. When people are walking by, they can see all of the stuff that makes your team your team. Now, about those business cards, some of you may be unaware that you can actually print those for pretty cheap from a couple different places. Vistaprint is probably the best, but there are several options out there. So you don't have to, pay lots of money to go to some local print shop to get it done. You can get them done online for pretty cheap. Another update we've done is to the Blogatog achievement. Have a development blog or social media page for your team. The important thing here is that you need to be starting early. So in the past, people tried to do it all right near the end. You've got a couple weeks left now. So if you don't already have a few entries, you should definitely start doing that sooner rather than later. The last update that I'll talk about is the Skynet achievement. So this is all about our team management system, TMS. The lowest tier is include team and game logos, team photos, and game screenshots on your TMS page. So this year we're requiring teams to be on TMS to even enter into the main contest. So you'll have to have something there. But on top of that very basic level to even get into the competition, we want you to have photos of your team, photos of your game, screenshots of your progress as you've gone along. TMS should sort of be your central place to put everything. And then the higher tier, for more than double the points, is to completely fill out your game page on TMS. Now, one more thing I should mention about TMS, which is different this year, is that our awards presentation at the end will be generated from teams' entries on TMS. So if you don't put pictures there, you will be that awkward team, which gets a generic smiling dude instead of your team picture. And maybe that's what you want, but it doesn't look very professional. So make sure that you fill out everything on your TMS page to have the best looking award ceremony you can possibly have. All right, that's all I've got for you right now. There will, of course, be many other achievements that will come out very soon, but these are a few of the more confusing ones or updated ones that you should be taking note of specifically. So I will hand you back to Gabriel, and good luck. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
So there you have it. You have 7 weeks to finish the game and get as many achievements as you can. The official achievement list is coming soon, but all you loyal viewers have a head start, so get to it. Next week, Adam will talk about advanced texturing with Blender. See you then.